I'm actually going to take a quick break from our conversation up here because we do have some more input from the audience, our live audience, and I would like to hear from you, please.
Okay. I'm an independent software engineer, so I'm a self-employed person. Yes, I did go to college because of peer pressure from my parents. I got a civil engineering degree, but I always liked computers since I was a little kid. So I got my degree, but I never once used it. And for example, I like your point. If you're going to sing or if you're going to be a software engineer, you can learn from the internet how to write software. And these young kids can write killer apps, and they're half my age, and they've never been to college. So there are avenues to go depending on your career path. But I would definitely not go to college if you're just going to major in some major because you're just going to go to college. The price these days is too high just to get a 4-year degree that you're never going to use, and that's what those kids were on the street. But software engineers, you don't need to go to college, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a great point, and I tend to have this a lot too because I'm interested to be heard as all about we have this side of the camera where we're actually having the show, but we also have the other side of the camera where kids are helping to produce the show and are being trained in how to do the production of a show. And I think personally that some of the experience and the education that you can get by working on this show and learning how to actually do it in the context of making a show is just as valuable, if maybe not more valuable, than going to a college and getting a degree in television production because it's hands-on experience. But as we've been saying here, most employers still require it. So if we don't think that that's fair for certain jobs, certain careers, and Claire, I know that you kind of countered that, and I liked your arguments. But if we agree to that, what sorts of changes can we make in our society so that that form of education is more accepted as proof that you actually know what you're doing?
Well, on that, sometimes I don't think employers really look at how they can help more as to what they've learned in the past. Like in some instances, if there's two employees that are pretty equal, the employer will most definitely always go with the applicant that has been to school.
True, very true. Yeah.
And I don't really know how we could break away from that. I guess more to look at the person as an individual and what they actually learned as opposed to whether or not they paid the $60,000 a year.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Well, like I said, once again, I think that there are some occupations in which a college degree of 4 years of college isn't necessary. And for those kids that get out of high school and they're like, I don't know what I want to do, so I'm going to go to college. I don't think that's the right path. If you don't know what you want to do, you shouldn't be going to college. You should be going to college when you say, this is what I think I want to do. Let me go get the education to achieve that occupation. And if while I'm there I figure out this is not the job for me, then I need to retract myself, figure out my life plan again, and try again. People that just go to college and are like, well, I really like English, so I think English is good. There needs to be a couple steps thinking ahead of time. And I think that's why employers value people that have those educations a lot more, as I think it reflects on an individual. I think it shows the fact that they've thought about, well, here's where I wanted to go. Step 1, college. Step 2 is to your office to get a job with you. And I think that's kind of where they come from.